So let's start with today's topic. First of all, I would like to thank DOXX Stravné, lístky. Thanks to this company, we are able to meet here for free. It's for you for free. And we are able to have an online English lesson once every 2 weeks. I'm very happy that I actually today see this group because I know all of you already. You've attended before. I know Stano from before, so I know your level of English. This is very important for me as a teacher. Your level of English or English level is quite similar. So. I know Ilka sometimes, but Ilka, I'm very proud of you that you are always trying, and even though you know you make some mistakes, but you are not shy to speak, which is amazing. It's the best for you to be able to improve your English. So perfect, good job. And what I decided for today, because I always have for you, I have a PowerPoint, but today I thought let's make it different. I would like all of you to try to participate as much as you can. I think the topic is, I would say, quite interesting. Probably all of us have something to say on the topic. And let's start with the first question. Let's start with the quiz question. What is today's topic? Who remembers?
About advice, to give advice to someone.
Exactly, to give and to get advice. And I think we can have quite a nice brainstorming session on this topic. And also what I would like to do towards the end of this class, I would like to have a small brainstorming with you because for April, I'm still deciding what kind of topics we could cover. And for me, it's very important to have topics which are interesting for you, which you would find useful. So, okay, so advice. Veronica, what do you, I don't know, I'm sorry I picked you, but I thought you could be a good person to kick off this topic, or if we have any other volunteers, please go for it. But Veronica, what would you say? I mean, what about giving advice or getting advice? I don't mind. You can start with whichever side you want. How do you feel about this?
I think it's very complicated topic because one friend of mine one day he told me like the worst what you can do is to get an advice to someone, you know, because
you mean to give ako dać,
yeah, to give
okay.
An advice to someone because you know each person is special and know the like it's just like very difficult what type of advice as well, because if it's someone in a difficult or complicated life situation, for example relationships or something like this, you know, it's not easy to give advice. So for me it's like
so what do you
like
I'm so sorry, what was the last thing?
Sorry, I don't like to do it, like to give advice. I don't like it, you know.
You mean like we can say unwanted, ako nechcenú radu, hey? Unwanted advice, something like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
If someone asks for advice or for help, it's different situation. But to say someone, oh, you should do this and this and this, you know, you have to know, like, all of.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add? No? What do you think, Emma, about what Veronica just said? Would you agree with Veronica, or do you have a different opinion on the topic?
I agree, but I think getting advice is hard too, because it's hard to not to get things too personally, because then we think it's criticism and it isn't advice. So it depends how the people talk with us, and they want good for us, not bad.
They have good spirit, we can say, or goodwill. Napíšem do chatu goodwill, takú dobrú vôľu, dobrý úmysel. Hey? Goodwill.
Yes.
Okay. And would you say you give advice often to your friends or mom, dad, or I don't know, brothers, sisters, if you have any, or you don't, you try to stay away from this, or how would you say it in your life?
If they ask me for advice, I advise them something, but I don't know if I say to them something without
without being asked.
Yes.
Without being asked. Okay, all right. So this is what works for you in your life. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Ilka, would you like to add something to this, or what do you think about giving or getting advice?
I am today a little bit shy because everybody here is perfect with English. So today maybe.
No, but I want to tell you, no, I absolutely respect what you just said. And of course, I don't want to make it uncomfortable for you or force you. But I think everyone understood what you just said, and you said it really nicely and really well. But I absolutely, if you feel today like maybe having a little break in participating, then no problem. Okay. But you're, I think, pretty good at the level what we need to have a conversation. So feel free in next 45 minutes, just if you want to say something, maybe you can write it in the chat or say, Petra, I would like to say something, and you can participate. Is it okay like this?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, no problem, no problem. And we have a last person, surprisingly. So what do you think?
Okay, I agree that it's a difficult topic. On the other hand, actually, I solve a lot of problems connected, especially with work. So I really appreciate every good advice, and it helps me maybe solve a lot of problems more effectively or better. So I really like good advice, and it helps me a lot.
And do you have to, from like practical, like in your everyday like work situation, as you said at work, it helps you a lot. Do you feel, or do you need to ask for it, or maybe your manager or your colleagues, they give you organically advice? What is happening more often for you?
I try to ask for advice, so it's better. So I try to ask, and I try to explain what I'm solving or what's the problem, and then it's maybe it's probably the good
more
answer.
Effective. Good answer. Yes, as Emma said, and also Veronica, like if someone asks and you are the person who asks, then it's easier for the person you ask from, and also you get tips or advice on topics that are really important for you, right? Fantastic. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to share with you one article. I think it's quite a good article from online. So let me share it with you in the chat window, and I would like all of you to open this article. And what we will do now, just 1 second, it's there, so you can open it. It's called The Best Way to Give Advice to Someone. So what we will do, we will take turns, budeme sa striedať, we will take turns, and everyone who would like to participate will read one short paragraph, and we will discuss it. Is it okay for you?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so who would like to start? Your favorite question? Emma, maybe, I don't know, or? It's okay?
Okay, I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for being brave.
So, as a blogger, I'm asked to give advice a lot. I genuinely want to help others, so learning to give advice correctly has allowed me to impact more people. Whether you want to be a leader, coach, or interpreter, knowing how to give advice will help you.
Emma, prepáč, entrepreneur, nie interpreter, entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. Vieme, kto je entrepreneur? Pozná to niekto, toto slovičko? Entrepreneur je podnikateľ. Hej, môžete si napísať do slovičiek, máme nové slovičko, entrepreneur. To. A ešte sme tam mali, Ema, jedno slovičko, aha, už viem, ktoré. Počkajte, hneď vám to píšem. Toto slovičko, kto ho pozná? Poznáme? Alebo keď je to od slova genuine. Poznáme to? Nie, nepoznáme. Dobre. Ja si ešte pozerám takto. Genuine má viacero významov, záleží od kontextu, ináč veľmi dobré slovíčko, aby ste ho mali vo svojom vocabulary, English vocabulary. V podstate nefalšovaný, pravý, úprimný a z toho máme genuinely, čiže naozaj, ako bolo v tom kontexte, počkajte, pozriem tú vetu. I genuinely want to help others to learning, to give, so learning a tak ďalej. Hej, čiže naozaj chcem úprimne, naozaj chcem pomôcť druhým ľuďom. Hej, OK. Alright, if there are any other words that are new for you, it would be best if you share them with me and with us, and this is how we learn new words, something practical for you. Okay, Emma, thank you very much. So you can carry on, please. If you give advice, I think...
if you give advice incorrectly, then you will risk being disrespectful, pissing people off, and not helping others to take the positive action that will assist them. Mm-hmm. I also try to remember that I don't have all the wisdom in the world, and I don't know everything. Mm-hmm. Some of my advice is useful, and some of it is not. Removing your ego from the advice you give makes the quality of your wisdom much higher.
Môžeme zastaviť, ďakujeme vám, thank you. So is in this part, the second part, are there any words that are new for you, or did you understand everything?
I didn't understand pissing people off.
Som čakala, že sa to niekto opýta a je to celkom... Napíšem to do slovičiek, nech si to môžete všetci keď tak poznačiť. No, skúste niekto, ak viete, keď nie, tak si povedať.
Nazlostiť.
Presne tak, áno. Veľmi slušne povedané, Veronika, nazlostiť. Hej. A ešte mali sme tam niečo, čo ste nepoznali?
Maybe wisdom.
Výborne, to som tiež dúfala, že sa niekto opýtal, lebo to by som bola rada, aby ste vedeli. Vie niekto Stánovi povedať, čo znamená wisdom?
Múdrosť.
Veronika, ty dneska hviezdíš, normálne tu nemusíme... Very good, presne tak. Múdrosť, wisdom je vyslovene taká múdrosť v zmysle taká, niekto je učený, niekto je vzdelaný, proste múdry, hej, niekto je, lebo clever máme tiež, alebo smart, ale wisdom je vyslovene v tomto kontexte ako rozum, múdrosť, učenosť a podobne. OK, all right, anything else, or shall we carry on? Okay, let's go. Maybe Veronica, can I ask you to read the first part, please?
Here is the best way to give advice. Tell a story. Dry information and stats.
Štatistiky, hej? Statistics, to je skrátenie stats.
Don't inspire people to make a change or listen to you. Storytelling is how you make your advice human, relatable, and real. Every great speech or piece of advice comes bundled with a story. The story is what people remember, and that's how they will remember your advice. I don't know about you, but I never remember facts, figures, or statistics. Unless you are lifelong, successful trivia show constant with a brain for remembering facts and figures. Always include stories in any advice you give. One tip throughout is to keep your story short and concise. Don't tell a story that,
and concise. And one tip though is to keep your story short and concise. Okay.
Don't tell a story that goes for 90 minutes if you can avoid it.
And the
Chunk the
last
story
part
down is chunk.
Chunk. Chunk the story down je proste to skrátiť, dať to do takého uceleného menšieho kúska, hej, keby sme to tak voľne preložili.
Chunk the story down into what happened and more importantly, what your audience can learn. Pros give advice through telling stories. Just look at TED.com for examples.
Okay, thank you very much, Veronica. Great. So, do you have, or anyone else, do you have any new words? I'm sure there are some new words that you don't know. So, which ones shall we discuss? Stats sme si povedali, hej, že je to skrátenie statistics, ako štatistiky. Potom, čo znamená napríklad concise? Počkajte, napíšem vám do chatu. To by som tiež bola rada, aby ste vedeli, ako slovičko concise sa píše. No, poznáme niekto?
Nie.
Môžete si poznačiť, concise znamená stručný. Hej? Tam sme to mali. One tip though is to keep your story short and concise. Hej, že aby to nebolo príliš, bless you, na zdravie, aby to nebolo, že nie je to proste také stručnejšie a také ucelenejšie, krátke, čo ja mám s tým občas trošku problém, ale to Stanko pozná, ale anyway, to je different topic. Okay, all right. An audience, what is an audience?
To je...
Prosím?
Nie.
To sú tí, čo to počúvajú.
Ivka, ty si niečo povedala, myslím, že si to povedala dobre.
Publikum, nie?
Publikum,
presne sa mi zdalo. OK. A ešte vám posielam do chatu stránku TED.com, tam to bolo spomenuté. Poznáte túto, ako asi niektorí poznáte? Ktorí nepoznáte, tak určite doporučujem. Emma, poznáš túto stránku, alebo niekedy si...
Yes, I know, but I have never saw any videos from them.
Okay, so you can either open the website TED.com or you can open on YouTube. You can just put like this, TEDx, and you have hundreds of videos over there. And I strongly suggest for all of you to sometimes watch these videos. I mean, you can choose any topic which is interesting for you, but what is great for you, you have different accents because there are people from all over the world. You have hundreds of different topics. Usually these speeches are very interesting, most of them, and you can learn a lot. You can also not just learn practical tips, but also learn how they talk, exactly as was mentioned in this article. Stan, I think sometimes you watch some of these speeches, right? So
yes, I really like it.
You agree, yes? So I think it's very useful. So maybe small homework for all of you or some of you who would like to improve his or her English faster can be that when we meet again in next 2 weeks or next 4 weeks, whenever you come again, then you can tell me what you saw on TEDx and, what kind of topic it was, how did you enlarge your vocabulary, etc. Okay? All right. So, Stano, if I can ask you, please, to read the next advice, chunk it down.
Okay. A long piece of advice that is complicated will rarely be absorbed or put into practice. Chunk your advice down into simple steps that your audience can follow. Keep your advice simple wherever possible and focus on key takeaways. What can someone listening to your advice take away with them? I find the power of phrase works best. Aim to 3 steps or 3 takeaways, if it's possible, in the context of your advice.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so my first question, any new words, any vocabulary, any words that you don't know? Any of you? Chunk it down, môžeme si povedať, že takto presne, že si to rozkuskujte, hej? Alebo dajte na nejaké tie celky s tým, že ideálne, ako oni teda nám radia, že by to mali byť nejaké 3 časti. Any other words? Or shall we move on? Okay, let's move on. So if someone else would like to participate, or Mariana or Ilka, then no problem at all. I will be happy if you join, if you want. But if I can ask Emma, please, to read again the next part, have a good structure.
Have a good structure. Just like a good speech, high-quality advice has a solid structure. There's an introduction, a body, and a conclusion that highlights the takeaways. This makes your advice easier to follow and more likely to be retained by that very old computer that's living in our heads called the brain. Be logical with your advice and structure it in a way that makes sense. Start with your most important point or think about the timeline in relation to your advice. What event happened first, or what steps do you begin with?
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. What is a conclusion? What does it mean, conclusion?
Záver.
Výborne. Záver, koniec, uzavretie niečoho. Hej, conclusion. Potom, čo znamená retain? Tam sme mali, že this makes your advice easier to follow and more likely to be retained by that very old computer that's living in our heads called the brain. Čo by sme povedali, že znamená retained?
Like to remember?
Sorry, say it again, please.
Like to remember it?
Presne tak. Áno, a podstate áno, a môžeme tak, že presne niečo si udržať, hej, tuto konkrétne v hlave, v mozgu, ale niečo si udržať, uchovať, zachytiť, niečo v tom zmysle. And as you said, likely to remember it. Very good. Okay, what does it mean in relation?
Vo vzťahu.
Super, very good. Very good. Okay, I think if you don't have any other questions in terms of this paragraph, I think we can move on. Okay, so Veronica, if I can ask you please to read next one. Be respectful.
Be respectful. I get people all the time emailing me and saying things like, should I be a stripper or should I kill myself? Leading with respect is very important because to do anything else could lead your audience to not take your advice, or even worse, use your advice to charm themselves or put themselves in more pain.
Veronika, tam bolo use your advice to harm, nie charm, harm, hey? Okay. Not everyone.
Not everyone is Superman or Superwoman like you, so don't talk down to your audience. Appreciate their situation even if you haven't been there yourself, and concentrate on being of service. No one likes to be spoken down to, and you have your own issues. You are not perfect either. Remember that whenever you are giving advice, even if your audience disagrees with your advice, they will respect you if you respect them first.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Very good. So, okay. So my first question, any new words or so tuto, čo som spomínala, to slovíčko harm, čo by sme povedali, alebo poznáme to? To by som bola rada. Výborne, presne tak. Use your advice to harm themselves or put themselves in more pain. Hej? Čiže nechceme ublížiť. Respect, to je asi jasné, to poznáme. Potom tu máme, toto som ešte chcela, by som bola rada, keby ste mali vo svojom takom, píšem to do chatu, pozrite si a skúste mi povedať, že čo to znamená. Mali sme to v tom článku. To vieme niekto? Nie. Talk down znamená vyslovenie, keď na vás niekto hovorí s takým opovrhnutím. Hej? Takže cítite, že proste na vás hovorí tak down, čiže on hovorí zhora. Hej, niečo v tom zmysle. Takže to by bolo fajn vedieť, čo to znamená. A ešte myslím, not perfect either. Okay, I would just ask you on this, be respectful. Would you agree with this advice, this particular advice, or disagree?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just not. I was worried someone will say that they disagree and we would have a new long discussion. But thank you very much, Veronika. Stanko, if I can ask you to read the next one, get to the point.
Okay, if your audience is millennials, then you'll want to get to the point. Our attention span is only decreasing as time goes on, and so those who can get to the point will win in this new attention economy. Your advice may be amazing, but it will never be heard if you can't get to the point. Respecting your audience time is how you get them to listen to your advice. Even try telling them up front how long the advice will take to deliver. You don't need to tell your life story when giving advice. Focus on the advice that will lead people to take action or think differently. Adopt the mindset of all killer, no filler.
What about the other, what does it mean decreasing?
Klesať, nie?
Presne tak, výborne. Píšem aj pre ostatných, aby ste si napísali. Myslím, že je dobré slovičko vedieť. A stúpať bude, Stanko, ako?
Increase.
Very good. Píšem aj pre ostatných increasing. Hej? Čiže increasing stúpanie, neviem, stúpanie cien, teraz to máme with petrol prices going crazy, increasing every day, and decreasing, klesanie niečo, hej? Máme to vlastne od slov increase, okay. Then respecting, to vlastne to už sme mali, ale tam sa to často opakuje. Viem, že som mala niekedy aj ľudia, čo to nepoznali, ale tam som si poznačila attention span. What does it mean, attention span?
Attention je ako pozornosť.
Výborne. A attention span potom by mohlo byť čo? Píšem vám to do chatu. Poznačte si, je to taký rozsah pozornosti. Hej? Každý máme ten attention span nejaký. Stano, keďže sme bývali kolegovia, tak vie, že my attention span is very small. Ale je to, hej, dobre, poznačte si do slovíčiek, možno zaujímavé slovíčko niekedy do budúcna, attention span. OK, thank you very much. So now it's Emma or Veronika, I don't remember, or anyone else, maybe Veronika, make it inspirational.
Sorry. Make it inspirational. Advice that is
simultaneously, to je taký ťažší.
Simultaneously inspiring works. I have witnessed this over the last few years with my own audience. People just want to be inspired. Being inspired is how you get people's attention. Inspiration makes you feel good, and positivity always wins. Inspiration that doesn't inspire action thought is useless. One of pump up session of advice doesn't help anyone in the long term. Focus on how you can inspire and also get people to think and follow through with action.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Veronika. Okay, I have one question, which is a very, for me, an interesting. I will share it with you in the chat window. 1 second. Where is it? Okay, I'm putting it in the chat window. What do you think this means? One-off pump-up session. Taká zaujímavá slovná hračka. Keď je niečo one-off, je to jednorazovka. Hej, by sme povedali, taká jednorazovka, jednorazové. A pump-up session je to tak trošičku, tak by som išla do slangu, ale one-off pump-up session, že niekomu dám nejaký rýchly jednorazový tip a mám pocit, že ten človek bude teraz forever smarter and wiser and I don't know, something else. Okay? All right. Any other words which you which... Toto slovičko ma zaujalo. Možno by ste mohli witnessed. To mi povie, čo znamená witnessed. Mali sme to vo vete, v druhej vete, second sentence. I've witnessed this over the last few years with my own audience.
Overil som si to.
To by bolo trošičku iné. Čo znamená, možno poznáte toto. Čo znamená toto slovo? Witness je svedok, hej? Stanko by bolo v rámci law ako práva a witness, že bol som toho svedkom, hej? Zažil som to, ale akože bol som vyslovene niečoho svedkom, hej? OK, alright. Emma, can you please read the next part? Use your own experience.
Use your own experience. We have talked about storytelling already. Many people tell stories, but never include their own experience. Your experience is the best advice you can give. No one has exactly the same story or list of experiences as you. So that's what makes your advice truly unique. If you are planning on making a business around your advice, that is an important fact to realize early on. All of us have experiences worth sharing. Many of my coaching clients tell me they don't. When I test the theory, I found out every time that we all have personal experiences that can help others. Your personal experiences are more valuable than you think.
More valuable than you think. Very good. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. What I found interesting, all of us have experiences worth sharing. Čo znamená worth sharing?
Že sa to oplatí ako keby zdieľať s ostatným.
Presne tak, presne, lebo keď je niečo worth, niečo stojí za to, niečo má nejakú cenu a že stojí za to zdieľať, presne tak, very good. All right, any other maybe unique, to je asi jasné, niečo také unikátne, výnimočné, unique. Myslím, že ostatné. All right, okay. We are so smart today. Very good. And we have 2 more tips. So, Stanko, please, if you could relate your advice back to their problem.
Lots of people give advice without knowing their audience problem. The best advice is tied back to the listener's problem. If you want to be effective with your advice, you need to learn to tailor it to the audience. This sounds easier than it looks. The best way I discovered to understand my audience problem was to ask them, in case of one-to-one advice, or for large audience, to research my audience problem through website like Quora. I found that our problems all come from mostly the same list. Our problems are not as unique as we think. They are in our own head. If all you do is give advice that doesn't solve the real problem, you're wasting your time. I even try to reference my audience problem in every part of the advice I give. Become obsessed with the problem and your advice will be effective.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. First of all, my question is, what do you think about this particular tip?
I agree with it. I think that we think that we solve a lot of people think that they solve different problems, but in the end, it's very similar, or they have a similar ground. So I agree with this article.
Me too. You too, Veronica?
Yep.
That's true. Like, doesn't it happen often in our head that we think, oh my God, the world is over, my life is at the end because this happened. And then I tell my friend and she's like, Petra, come on. All right. And then you feel much better because you can share your problem or something, or you can get advice and etc. So yeah, it's good to share with particular people in our life. Very good. And what does it mean, tailor to the audience? Tailor it to the audience. To by som bola rada, keby ste si poznačili. Tailor it to the audience. Ešte mám otázočku. Čo znamená slovičko tailor? Dobre. Tailor je krajčír, krajčírka. A tailor to the audience si môžeme tak odvodiť. Tailor v tomto prípade to bude ako sloveso v tej vete. Ušite to na mieru tomu publiku. Hej? Čiže v podstate to asi aj dáva zmysel. Takže tailor to the audience. Ak ste nepoznali, tak odporúčam si to naučiť. OK, all right. And we have the last tip. And that is called inject emotion. So, Veronica, if I can ask you, please.
The best advice contains your own emotion. Linking your advice to emotion is another practical strategy to get people to take action. Injecting emotion into your advice requires you to be bold, authentic, and vulnerable. Which is why so many people forget this valuable step when giving advice.
Sorry. Okay.
We all remember when someone got emotional while giving a speech, or when we felt the same emotion as the person giving us the advice. We are all human, and emotion unites us. Emotion is what can make your advice feel universal. We have all felt sadness, laughter, or emotion is in our lives. Put this into your advice if you want to influence your audience to make a real and rapid change.
Rapid change. Thank you very much, Veronica. Valuable.
Value je taktiež hodnota, nie?
Presne tak. Value je hodnota, valuable nejaký cenný, hodnotný. Hej? Tak si môžete napísať, kto nepoznáte. Potom sme mali vulnerable. Vulnerable tiež by som odporúčila mať in your vocabulary, je taký zraniteľný. A potom sme tam mali ešte jedno slovičko v tej vete. We're all human and emotion unites us. United Nations, unite, unity, spája, že nás to spája. Hej, prepája, spája. All right, fantastic. Well, I don't know about you, but I must say that this was my most favorite lessons today. First of all, I would like to thank, yes, yeah. I really, really enjoyed this lesson, and one of the most important factors why I enjoyed it, because you were participating, or most of you were participating. Ilka, I'm pretty sure you were participating in your head, am I right?
Yes, but I like also this lesson.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. I try to make it a bit more practical, and I think maybe I will apply this type of a lesson in 2 weeks' time, in our next lesson. And we have only 1 minute left, but if you have any tips or advice or any ideas on the next topics. I mean, we have next topic for in 2 weeks' time in March, but I'm in April. You can share it with me now, or you can email me, or some of you have me on Facebook as well, or WhatsApp, anywhere. Thank you again to all of you who were participating. Thank you again to DOXX Stravné lístky for giving us this opportunity to meet every 2 weeks. And I wish you a really nice evening, and I hopefully will see you again in 2 weeks' time. All right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.